Hey there, third graders. It is week 5, day 2, and this is your reading assignment for the day. First off, we are going to start off with our vocabulary list. So your packet will look something like this. Week 5, day 2 at the top. And on vocabulary list, this is something we have done quite a bit, people. You should be very, very, very familiar with this. And it says to describe two things that relate to each vocabulary word. So list two things you might see when you approach a mountain. Remember what approach means? It means you're getting closer. So as you get closer to the mountain, what are something that you might see? So you're going to write those here. Next, list two different sections in a grocery store. Remember, a section is a part. So when you go into the grocery store, what are two different areas you might find? So you might want to put, whatever those two areas are for you. You'll go through for each one of these like that. Now, if you get stuck and you're like, I'm not really sure what this word means, do yourself a favor. You can do a couple of things. Number one, you could take your packet and go back to yesterday's packet that we worked on. Remember, we worked on our vocabulary list. Look through that because it has all those vocabulary words at the top. And then remember, you have examples of each one. You could do that. Or if you need to, you could also jump back on Think Central and head over to the vocabulary section for lesson 25, which looks like this. And it has every single vocabulary word ready to go. Or you could just pause your video and look at, I think I got it all in there. Sweet. You could pause the video and just say, hey, I'm just going to use this to help me out. Mr. Hall, you're really awesome, right? I think I'm pretty cool. Awesome. So you can just pause the video, use these words, and use these definitions to help you answer anything you do not know. Yay. Okay. So that is this sheet. So, you pause that, you get that all knocked out. Life's good in the neighborhood. Next up, it's going to ask you about main topics. And when we talk about main topics, what we're doing is we're asking you, so if the main topic I'm talking about is Mount Everest, in the reading, what did you learn about Mount Everest? And so what I want you to do is give me two words that describe Mount Everest. And I need, two sentences. And it says to write at least two complete sentences, at least two. That means the minimum, but if you can write more, go for it. You don't have a whole lot of room here. I know some of you enjoy typing. If you would prefer to type this up, you are welcome to. In fact, that would be awesome because that helps my old eyes. I can see it and read it very easily. If there's not enough room here, you are welcome to grab binder paper and you can recreate this on your binder paper. You could just write Mount Everest and then tell me some facts that you know about Mount Everest, or at least two follow-up sentences that go along or describe these topics. So they're all listed here. Cool. You can do this. I have absolute faith in you. So when we talk about Mount Everest, what are at least two things you can tell me about Mount Everest? So you could say Mount Everest is the tallest mountain range in the world. It is, and then tell me how tall it is. You could do any of that information would be absolutely fine with me. Okay, so that's what we have here. Awesome. Yeah. When you're done with this, do not get too comfortable because I have one more small thing for you, and that are the text-dependent questions. Now remember, text-dependent questions, these must be in a complete sentence, people. You're killing me when I'm looking at some of your stuff and you're just giving me short answers here. So what makes Temba Shuri unique on page 349? When you turn here, one of the things they talk about here is that Temba Shuri it says just 2 weeks before Temba celebrated his 16th birthday, he was one of the people that climbed Mount Everest. And it says he would be the youngest person ever to reach the summit. So we would say on page 349, it says Temba Shuri was one of the youngest people, or was the youngest person to ever reach the summit of, what's the place they're climbing? That's right, Mount Everest. So you would write that out. On page 349, it says Temba Shuri was the youngest person to ever climb Mount Everest. Cool? Got it. That is definitely something that makes him unique. What is a group of mountains called on page 350? So when you look in your page here, We're going to look over here. And as you're looking through here, it says, what are mountains? And it says, as I scan, a group of mountains is called a range. Hey, see that sentence right there? That's on page 350. So over here, I would say, on page 350, it says a group of mountains is called a range, period. Come on, people. We got this all day long. Ooh, ooh. Do your best. I want complete sentences, please. 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 Okay, get started. You got this.